This is the professional.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Calvin Pham, and I work here at Very Handsome Studios, and this is my boss and co-founder of Very Handsome Studios. And today we're just going to ask a few questions, learn about how to build a small business, and just a little bit about Very Handsome Studio itself. So, question one: what inspired you to start your own business?
uh, okay, so I think the inspiration just is not wanting to work for someone else anymore for a while. Especially in the design industry is kind of difficult just because, you know,
Right.
you got to go through somebody, you got to ask permission for a good idea, and that starts to get really tiring. So we just tried to do our own thing, and then it bloomed into a business. We didn't plan this.
Right.
It was supposed to be a side project.
Side project. Wow.
Got out of control.
Nice. Okay. Well, can you tell us about your background and how you got into interior design?
Well, I've always wanted to do this, so it's not like a surprise discovery or something. It would be nice. You just go back and forth with her here, but she's not here, so whatever. Right. But yeah, so I went to school for it and then did the whole, professional corporate thing. Didn't work out, so tried to do our own stuff.
Okay. So, when starting your own business, how did you identify your target market?
So I did already come from a hospitality-based design firm, and so it just easily shifted into that market. Originally, everybody's like gateway drug into design is always residential. Probably shouldn't have said that. Sorry. You know what I mean? Like their foot in the door for design is like residential design, right. But for some reason, it was really hard for us to access that type of market, like type of clientele. Like they're looking to us to do like menial labor work.
Right.
Hey, do you guys hang curtains? Do you know how to pick pillows? Like that's the bare minimum of what we can offer. And so naturally we transitioned into hospitality, bar, restaurant, and then people heard about it, and then they started to hire us for their house. So nice. A little bit of a backwards spin on it.
Okay. So how do you define success within this business?
I don't know. Having enough money and time to live life. I don't know. Well, originally I think we were hoping to be published. So now that we've been published, we're like, oh, this doesn't feel any different. Still struggling. So probably also shouldn't say that. Yeah. Sorry. But I guess, yeah, just like having projects that we're proud of, that people look to and actually reference for their jobs, that would be really, really accomplishable or a nice feeling. English is hard today.
No worries. All right. So, how did you develop a business plan and then set goals for growth in the past years?
Honestly, the business plan came because we had to. Neither of us had sort of like business training background. We're very much design creative heavy. And so every step of the way has been just tooth and nail, just going through it, having to learn it. And our business plan changed a lot. It didn't just shift, it changed. Like we had to physically change it to match the growth of what's happening and also where we're going with it. So how it came about is we saw our needs first, and we tried to answer those needs in the most, concise way, and that then became bits and pieces of our business plan, pretty much.
Good. Sounds. So, with interior design, I know that things go in and out of season. Yeah. So, how do you stay current with industry trends and technologies to ensure that the business remains relevant?
It's interesting. Like I think this era is not. It's too trend heavy to the point where like there's 18 trends happening at the same time, and then designers are like, "Oh, we can't. Got to be ahead of the trends or whatever."
Right.
So realistically, there is nothing that's relevant. So to combat that, we definitely try to accommodate the client first. Oftentimes people come in having a starting vision or having a goal or a story they're building off of, and then from there we implement things that they like with the aesthetics that we can offer from our profession. And that way, they're always going to love that product, and it's always going to stay relevant to them, and it's not changing just with the season. Like
Right.
it's too fast to try to chase it.
All right. Yeah. So how do you maintain a work-life balance while running a business?
So hard to expect that much work-life balance when you're just starting out a business, because your work is your life. It's like the little baby that won't leave you alone. You know, you can't put it into bed and then go do whatever else you want.
Right.
It doesn't take naps. It literally is 24/7.
Right.
But I guess to find work-life balance, you just have to like give yourself more accurate deadlines, and then give yourself permission to take breaks. Like that's the hardest part for us, is going from an environment where people are telling you this is your 9 to 5, right? This is the window where you have to focus on work. It's very easy. You're like, oh, after that, I don't have to worry about it. I don't get paid for that hour, whatever it might be. Of course, we don't get paid for any of the hours. Right? We're just, but we have to make it work to grow. So.
Right. So with having a small business, you have clients. How do you like handle the feedback and changes to the plans?
Oh gosh. Okay. So never anything, nothing, and everything is ever to plan. You think that you have figured it all out. You turn it in and it's the final, but no, it's just the final draft. You know, it's the finals draft. But I mean, the growth and the quick change of this industry is actually why I really like it. I like thinking on my feet. I like things that are emergency situations sometimes, but I can creatively solve it. And so part of the allure of this profession and even this position is that I can maintain and control that flow in a sense. I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay. Still with the topic of clients, how do you maintain relationships with past clients, and like how does that generate to new leads and stuff?
Yeah, actually. So our past client was basically the kickstart to our like extreme explosion of growth. You know, I guess she just believed in me enough through one project in interaction that she recommended me to a different, you know, contracting company that constantly came back to us for continuous work. And from there, we really had a leg to stand on to grow. So honestly, anybody can be a potential client or potential recommendation. And it's so cliche to say that, but it just, you don't know who people know. So just being friendly and like offering advice or keeping in touch with anybody is always beneficial.
Right. So I always thought to myself, like, that myth of it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. Yeah, I thought that was always a myth, but now that I've grown older, it's like really, it's 100%. Really about who you know.
And it's like who you know and the timing for everything, which is the worst part, because sometimes you really don't have a lot of control in the growth of your business if you don't know the right people and if you don't have the right timing. And so like sometimes people are like, oh, I'm going to go into this profession, I'm going to do this type of project, I'm going to grow this large. Like you really have to not set so many static expectations, because it's always controlled by the flow of your life.
Right.
You know, you just have to be ready for what comes, type of thing.
Okay. And then I guess the final question is, can you discuss any future plans or goals for this business?
Make more money. I guess our future goal. Okay, so we had a lot of ambitions going in, hoping to kind of like, you know, of course, design is our baby, but it is slow. Sometimes project takes a year to complete, and within the year, we don't have like continuous revenue, and so we're like, oh, you know, finding different ways to bring in something every month. So we're like, oh, let's do a podcast. Oh, let's sell retail. Oh, let's sell decor. Oh, let's do this. Let's do that. But honestly, I think the future is to strengthen our team first. The one issue we found is that like being too ambitious without support is just not going to go anywhere. We don't have time, and our biggest issue so far is that we keep taking things in. by ourselves.
Right.
And so we can't possibly do everything. We can, but then we would do it really poorly.
Right.
All at the same time, which
Right.
is not the point. So I think our main plan for growth is literally to hire people that are good, that we like, that we trust, that understands what we're trying to do.
Right.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
Nice. I guess, and then this is final, but like, do you have any tips or advice for any potential or like inspiring small business owners?
I guess don't overthink it, but then be prepared for stuff.
Okay.
I guess overthink enough.
Yeah.
But that's it. Don't overthink anymore. And honestly, like one day at a time is genuinely the best advice that we probably should have kept telling each other. Is that like bad days aren't always going to stay, and also good days aren't always going to stay. And so one day at a time, you appreciate what you have, and you learn from everything. It becomes easier.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because every day parts wisdom.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So, well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for tuning in, and check out Very Handsome Studios at veryhandsomestudios.com. Bye. See, that was great.